Punky Brewster. She was discovered singing in a pig barn at age 6, and at 19, she was named one of the 100 most powerful people in Hollywood.
It's kind of overwhelming to think about it.
But before Jennifer Love Hewitt became a star in movies and on TV's Party of Five, she had to grow up quickly.
She goes, "You're going to go to the Grammys tomorrow night for your 10th birthday."
She not only moved away from school, she moved away from her whole life.
In the next hour, you'll discover how Jennifer's family pulled up their Texas roots and made a child's dream come true.
When I came out to California, I thought acting was really neat.
My mom just told me if that's what I wanted to do, that she was going to make it happen.
You'll learn how Jennifer's early success as a commercial actress
We're into Barbie!
was followed by years of disappointments.
That's when I started being a queen of canceled television shows.
That really was what was kind of hard, was that goodbye.
And discover how Jennifer turned a small guest part into the role that would change her life.
She definitely was going to be a big part of the show.
When we do scenes together, we get goofy.
Chabuchi roll call.
We genuinely care about each other as people.
We'll bring you the behind-the-scenes stories of Jennifer's leap to big-screen stardom.
She opened up the trunk and just freaked out.
She's obviously never seen a dead body before.
And you'll hear from the family and friends who know Jennifer best.
She's a very cool girl. It's like I can relate to her.
She's just an amazing girl to begin with. Have you ever heard her sing? This girl can sing.
Join us for the exciting journey of the vibrant young actress who's never lost sight of the little girl inside.
So sit back, relax, grab some chips. Very exciting.
This is Jennifer Love Hewitt, Celebrity Profile. Jennifer Love Hewitt was born on February 21st, 1979, in the rural town of Waco, Texas.
I was named after my mom's best friend in college. Her name was Love. And my mom, when I was born, said that I came out with like little heart-shaped lips. And so she thought it was definitely the most perfect name. My mom added Jennifer because my brother was 9 when I was born, and he got worried that when I got older, Love might be kind of a weird name.
We live in this kind of small town. At the time I was 8, almost 9 years old. We might want to, throw a buffer in there just in case when she's 13, this is not working out and she wants to go another direction. So there was a little girl that I was smitten with in elementary school named Jennifer.
So because of this blonde chick down the block, I have Jennifer on my name now.
Shortly after her birth, Jennifer's parents divorced, and her mother, Pat, moved the family to the even smaller town of Killeen, just north of Austin. From the earliest age, Jennifer seemed destined to perform.
The only time that I felt like I was me and that I was doing something right in my life and that I had a place in the world was when I was performing for people. I loved watching Punky Brewster, and I used to be like, I could be Punky Brewster, I could have punky power, I could do that. What is that called? I could do that.
Even just as a child, I can remember always putting on a full performance. Just anytime anybody would sit down long enough to look at her, she was putting on a show.
According to her teachers at Nolanville Elementary, when it came to talent, Jennifer was at the head of her class.
In the classroom, she would bring her karaoke little thing, and she'd sing, and the children would just sit in awe and listen to her, and she'd belt out a song.
She just was just a genuine, happy child, and that everybody liked, and she liked everybody.
She could walk in a room, and her presence was known before she ever said anything.
Jennifer had been taking dance lessons since the age of 3.
They always put me in the back of the class because I was in like the advanced group because I'd been there so long. And I would start moving my way up to the front of the class, and I would start singing and performing the songs for the class instead of dancing along with them. And I was always like, why am I in the back? This is not right. Hello, I belong up front. Thank you.
Jennifer seized every opportunity to perform. But in the tiny town of Killeen, the venues were somewhat limited.
The first performance that we did, like outside of our recital, was like, it was at a livestock show in a pig barn in Texas. And I'm very proud of it. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's not funny.
and they cleared away some of the pig stalls and threw up a little stage and some bleachers, and she went to it.
I stood up in the middle of this livestock show in the pig barn, and I sang The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, and I was hooked.
By the age of 7, Jennifer was singing at malls and on local telethons. A talent scout noticed her right away.
He asked me to go to Russia and represent the United States as a Goodwill ambassador because they were looking for somebody to sing there.
Jennifer's performance troupe took her on a whirlwind tour of the Soviet Union.
And then we went to Copenhagen and we went to Sweden. And I thought that was so neat.
When she returned home, it was clear that this little girl's talent had outgrown the small town of Killeen.
She ended up just qualifying, got seen, and next thing you know, she won Little Miss Texas. And from there was a gentleman that saw her and said, look, to really seek your full potential, you need to be in California and in Los Angeles. Love said, hey, this is something I would like to do. I'd love to give it a shot.
My mom just told me if that's what I wanted to do, that she was going to make it happen and you know, that she was going to support me all the way.
We sat down and kind of worked out the logistics of it, however inaccurate we were at the time, and here we are.
With 6 years of performing already on her daughter's resume, Pat Hewitt bravely pulled up roots to give Love a chance to fulfill her destiny.
And I thought I had the voice to be a singer, so I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And then
Jennifer was only 9 years old.
Not even a double digit yet. Isn't this exciting? You have a long way to go. I'm so sorry. Go to the fridge, get a Coke, come back. I'll still be talking. It's okay.
Coming up on Celebrity Profile, Jennifer's magical first day in Hollywood.
I got to meet Michael Keaton, and then I saw Whitney Houston perform One Moment in Time.
And later, Jennifer becomes a living doll.
Just roll the clip already. I know it's coming.
A frail blue. On February 18th, 1989, 9-year-old Jennifer Love Hewitt and her mother, Pat, decided to leave Texas for an uncertain future in Hollywood. They gave themselves 1 month to make it.
We drove out in our little Buick that was falling apart and like kind of went like it made all these really funny noises.
I was still a senior in high school, so I just got a lot of phone calls along the way, and we're here, and you won't believe the traffic and the buildings and the number of people and everything else.
So I finally arrived on my 10th birthday, and we stayed at the Holiday Inn on Sunset. And I remember that the restaurant was closed by the time we got here, but they were able, my favorite thing in the whole wide world was cheesecake, and my mom had them get me a piece of cheesecake and stick a candle in it. And I had a cheesecake and strawberries with a candle in it for my 10th birthday.
It turned out to be a birthday Jennifer would never forget. Her mother had another surprise in store.
So she told me that the guy that was going to be my manager, who I hadn't really even met yet, had gotten me tickets as a birthday present. I was like, tickets to what? And she goes, you're going to go to the Grammys tomorrow night for your 10th birthday. She's like, but you have to pretend you're 12. And I was like, 12? Whoa! We got in a huge white limo, and we went to the Grammy Awards, and I walked in, and I got to meet Michael Keaton, and then I saw Whitney Houston perform One Moment in Time, and that was my first day in LA, and I was like, if you think I'm going home in a month, you are absolutely out of your mind, Mom. No way, I'm here.
With only a month to make her mark in Hollywood, the confident 10-year-old hit the audition trail like a veteran. First up was a children's television show called Kids Incorporated. Executive producer Thomas Lynch.
When she came in the room, she was so tiny, and she had a head of hair like this. She had this big mane of hair on her, and when I first saw her, she smiled, and her whole head was teeth. Out of 1,100 children, there was this beautiful little girl with a smile that just, took the attraction. Everybody looked right at her.
So it went from 1,100 to 40, and I was there, and then it went to 20, and then it went to 10, and then it went to 5, and it came down between me and another girl, and the other girl got it. And I was pretty sad.
But Jennifer's audition haunted Thomas, causing him to reconsider.
I said, okay, I can't make it work. I want the other girl, and that's when love came into it.
I was really excited, and so I had to go. I had to go catch up, and I was 2 weeks behind, and I had to record like 13 songs in one day, my first day.
Jennifer threw herself into the grueling schedule, according to co-star Stacy Ferguson.
I think that there are certain people in this world who are destined to be entertainers. With Love, she not only moved away from school just for that summer, she moved away from her whole life, you know, because she was destined for this.
It seemed Jennifer hadn't so much moved away from her life as she had found her life in entertainment.
You knew she was a star. You just knew it. You knew that she had the internal strength to do it. She had the positive attitude to do it. And we shot, I believe, 3 shows a week, 6 days a week. And those shows were each probably 40 or 50 pages each, so they had to learn a lot of dialogue and a lot of numbers.
It was all taping the show, so we had no life, basically.
Jennifer was not only growing up on a soundstage, she was making a life there as well. In a strange twist of fate, she formed a crush on future Party of Five co-star Scott Wolf.
I remember he came on and he was like the older guy with the dimples, and he was way cute, and he was super nice, and we were like, oh my God, he's gonna like me. And I was like the youngest one, so I knew I didn't stand a chance. But like the older girls were like, yeah, I'm 16, he's gonna dig me for sure. And I was like, well, what about me? You know, like, come on. And then I got him all back later because I get to work with him every day.
Despite her busy Kids Incorporated production schedule, Jennifer continued to audition and quickly landed a series of commercials.
It could only be that Mrs. Morris is serving Mrs. Smith's tonight.
Great. Hi, Mom.
Save a piece for your dad.
Uh-oh.
They're scary, especially the Barbie ones, because I'm like, we're into Barbie, like so perky, like, yeah.
We're into Barbie.
Barbie rocks, you know, it's so scary.
The people who make Barbie asked for our help making a Barbie splash and slide raft. And we said, cool.
Jennifer would eventually star in a series of national spots for Barbie. Her commercials became so popular, Mattel signed the effervescent 11-year-old to break out her leg warmers in a Dance Workout with Barbie video.
Hi, everybody. Are you ready to work out with me and my friends?
Just roll the clip already. I know it's coming. Go ahead.
1, 2, 3. Kick your front, here we go. And Barbie basic. Now count with me. 1.
Yeah, that's just downright just not funny, that thing right there.
It still haunts her. We still see it every now and then at Christmas or on, you know, some old special that they're doing and she can't believe it. Woo, come on, girls. You know, that whole thing.
Jennifer added to her already heavy work schedule when she joined a promotional show for sportswear maker LA Gear.
You would go to the trade shows all around the world. We did a performance where we performed in Thailand, and I performed for 60,000 people. And it was like, you know, 11 years old, 12 years old, and I was kind of standing there going, oh my God, what's going on? And then at the end of the thing, they all rushed the deal, and like the guys had to carry me on their back, and they tried to tip over our bus in Thailand and stuff like that. And that's when it sort of got a little weird. I was kind of like, whoa, this is a big deal.
But for little Jennifer, the deal was about to get a whole lot bigger.
A record executive in Tokyo came to me when I was 12 and said, would you like to record an album?
Coming up on Celebrity Profile, Jennifer's first CD makes her a star everywhere, but at home.
And they had no idea what to do with me.
And later, Jennifer's secret fears about the role that would change her life.
I felt like I had been punched in the stomach.
In 1991, after 3 years on the children's show Kids Incorporated, Jennifer Love Hewitt left the series to tour the world with sportswear maker LA Gear. It was a career gamble that opened new avenues for the 12-year-old actress.
We went to Tokyo, and a record executive in Tokyo came to me when I was 12 and said, would you like to record an album? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so we recorded an album, and it came out there, and it was like #1 for 3 weeks.
One of the album's songs was written by Deborah Gibson, who herself had burst on the scene as a teen singing sensation.
She just had this great, spunky, young sound, and it was perfect for the song I had written, and that was it. And then when she came out and I became a fan of her work as an actress, I was like, hey, I'm feeling pretty cool because I wrote a song for Jennifer Love Hewitt.
But Jennifer's explosive success was tempered with the constant reminder that she was still only a child.
I'd gone to record companies in LA, but they were like, what are we gonna do with a 10-year-old kid, you know? They had no idea what to do with me.
Jennifer again embarked on a whirlwind album tour overseas. Accompanying her on the trip was teacher Chris Canute.
She maybe did become a little more worldly. Her mom has kept her really grounded, and she was still a little girl from Texas in a lot of ways.
Jennifer returned to the United States exhausted, but jumped back into acting in a situation comedy called Shaky Ground.
It was my first, you know, like, big TV show other than Kids Incorporated, and it was really fun.
Co-stars Bradley Pierce and Robin Riker were taken by Jennifer's youthful exuberance.
She was a really happy, peppy kind of person in the first place. And then she was probably the first person to check the little rating sheet that they put up over the craft service table all the time.
Her enthusiasm was delightful. I'm a pretty high energy person myself, so she was very well matched for me, if I may say so, as a daughter.
It was great for me because I started the show when I was 13. It was all through my main, really tough teenage years, which was great because then I never became that angst teenager that a lot of my friends became and a lot of people become, because I was so angst during the day at work that when I came home, it was such a breath of fresh air just to like calm down and be giggly and goofy and, you know, just have a good time.
And although Jennifer was still growing up in front of the camera, she had a professional vision well beyond her years.
She has like a duality about her that even today she has that, where she can be a 15-year-old girl squealing with delight as she watches an MTV video and says, oh my God, that guy is so cool. And then she can have her suit on and pitching a movie that she'd like to executive produce.
She told me sort of how she saw her life and her career going. And I'm not going to tell everything that she told me, but so far she seems to be spot on, as they say.
Unfortunately for Jennifer, the series was canceled after a brief run.
Jennifer was probably one of the people who was hit hardest by the breakup of it because she had developed so many friends.
At 13, that's when I started being the queen of canceled television shows.
But Jennifer spent little time feeling sorry for herself. She soon appeared with Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2.
It was a small part, but it was really cool. I got to sing in it, which was good. And I liked kind of playing like the inner city kid. Because again, I mean, I got stuck with all these parts that were totally unlike me, which forced me really to sort of, you know, find this other side of myself, which was a little more rebellious and sort of like dark. I had a good time. Kathy Najimy was great. She was really, really funny, and I adored her.
Sister, I hate this thing. I mean, it does absolutely nothing for my figure.
I remember her coming home every day talking about, like, you've got to meet this lady. She's so fun, she's so neat, and just into having a good time and enjoying her work, but also being professional about it.
Shortly after wrapping Sister Act 2, Jennifer went on an audition for a series set in Hawaii called Birds of Paradise. For Jennifer, the role was a bit of a stretch. Executive producer Charles Eglee recalls her audition.
Love came in the room, and it was very clear that all you need is love after that happened. She was Franny Bird, she just owned the role.
I wore these big combat boots that weren't tied, ripped, torn black jeans, a black tank top, a flannel over it, and dark, dark red lipstick. And I walked in there, and it was like, yeah, it's very nice to meet you. And I gave them, I was like working the attitude, total interview, like.
Jennifer shed her innocent image and nabbed the role. She was maturing as an actress and as a person.
It was at the time where I was trying to figure out like what was okay and what wasn't okay and who I was going to be and who I wasn't going to be and all that stuff.
Jennifer found guidance on screen and off from co-stars Timothy Busfield and Seth Green.
I think we had a nice sort of father-daughter thing going on, and that was kind of special because she would say, I'd see her in the morning and I'd say, hello, lovey, and she'd say, hello, daddy.
She was 14 years old, and all these like 25-year-old island guys were like, oh, bro, fix me up with your sister. And I was like, you touch her, and I'll run you over with a monster truck and then start beating you up, you know what I mean? So I was very protective of her.
But once again, Jennifer found her on-screen family broken apart.
The first time I've ever been really, truly, truly heartbroken in my life is when Birds of Paradise was canceled. It really, really hurt bad.
Because we had become this family out there. Tim Busfield really had legitimately become the father of those kids, and Love was very much his daughter.
And I think that really was what was kind of hard, was that goodbye, you know, because we'd become sort of mother-daughter, and including Seth Green, you know, I mean, we'd all become like a family there.
After working less than 6 months on Birds of Paradise, Jennifer would get a third shot at primetime stardom when she was cast in ABC's McKenna. co-star Eric Close knew right away that she was no ordinary teenager.
She was very, almost kind of an old soul, you know, very wise about how things work and knowing her focus, where she wants to go and what she wants to accomplish in her career. But at the same time, she had this complete playfulness, and she allowed herself to remain a teenager.
But ABC canceled McKenna after less than a season.
That was a real letdown because we all had really started to become a family. We're playing a family, and you just start to become a family.
It was another broken family, another canceled show.
I was beginning to think I was a curse because you know, other shows around me weren't getting canceled all that much. It just seemed to be the ones that I was on.
Coming up on Celebrity Profile, one last attempt at TV success.
I went on an audition for Party of 5, and I didn't think I was going to get it.
And later, Jennifer screams her way to the top.
There it comes.
By 1995, Jennifer Love Hewitt had 3 failed television series on her resume. But 15-year-old Jennifer remained optimistic.
Because I was having fun. I was like, whatever. You know, I'm having a good time. Hopefully I'll find one that bites.
I don't think Love has ever doubted where she is now, or ever doubted that she would be where she is now, nor doubted where she'll be in the future.
Jennifer went on an audition for a struggling Fox drama called Party of 5. Executive producer Chris Kaiser.
We were casting for Bailey's new, not even girlfriend, we were casting for Bailey's new friend. And the idea was we were going to cast a tomboy.
I didn't think I was going to get it. I was in a room full of, you know, drop-dead gorgeous model 25-year-olds.
First of all, Love looked nothing like the part we had imagined.
I consider myself pretty average looking, kind of awkward, 16. A big dork on the planet, you know, and not what the character was really supposed to be.
She was anything but a tomboy, even at 16 years old, and yet, you know, she read these scenes, and we were honestly knocked out.
The casting director ran out, and she said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't know, going to McDonald's." Why?
It was one of those, okay, that's it. We're done. We found the person.
Party of 5 also reunited Jennifer with her Kids Incorporated guest star and former crush, Scott Wolf.
We have a good time. Jennifer's great. She's a really talented actress and a lot of fun.
Almost immediately it became clear to us that Bailey would have to be in love with her. It was impossible to have her play opposite and not have some chemistry.
Somehow, instantly, we were all really close. Just felt a real comfort with each other, and we really liked each other and loved each other quickly.
She treated Scott in some ways like a professional actress would treat a co-star, and a little bit like a 16-year-old girl would treat a very, very attractive, you know, older guy. She was, you know, completely smitten with him.
And of course, my first day of work just thought Scott Wolf was, again, the best, and was dreading, like, my 9th episode because, like, just as a friend, I love him as a person.
Jennifer's 9-episode contract was about to run out. It seemed she would lose another television relationship, this time with Scott Wolf.
I think he's so great, and I was like, I can't believe I have to leave after 9 episodes. And I remember that it came close to the 9th episode, and I was kind of like, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? How am I going to leave?
While Jennifer worried if her character would return the following season, the larger picture was even bleaker. Would there even be a show to return to?
It was pretty scary, because it looked like we weren't going to survive. It looked like we weren't even going to get a chance.
We were struggling, because it was our 2nd season, to get picked up episode by episode.
Well, I mean, we would get picked up, you know, okay, we've been picked up for 3, and then it'd be like 10, and then it'd be 13, half a season, and then finally it'd be like the whole season.
I remember the very last show of the season, and they called to say that the show had gotten picked up. And I remember, like, I felt like I had been punched in the stomach because I knew that I wasn't gonna be there. So I remember, like, giving Scott a big hug and celebrating with everybody, and then I went and I sat outside, and I was bawling, and I was really upset.
Everybody loved her, and I think she really enjoyed working on the show.
I guess she was waiting to see if she also got picked up on the show.
And Ken told me, Ken Topolsky said, there's a phone call for you, and I went and I picked up the payphone, and it was Chris and Amy calling to say that they wanted me to be on the next season as well. And I was like, yes! And I was so excited. And so then I went back in, and Scott's like, what was wrong with you? And I was like, nothing, when he's talking about him on the show.
Not only was she on the show, the on-screen relationship between Sarah and Bailey began to heat up. For Jennifer and Scott, this was a natural.
We genuinely care about each other as people. And so when we step on the stage as actors, I think all that bleeds into what we're doing.
The producers obviously really loved the relationship between, herself and Scott Wolf, and we were also excited that, she definitely was going to be a big part of the show.
For co-star Neve Campbell, Jennifer's expanding role only added to the love on the set.
Love is a sweetheart. Love and I always get along. It's so funny. We rarely get to do scenes together, but when we do scenes together, we get goofy. All of a sudden, I become like a 9-year-old. Chabuchi, roll call. It's ridiculous. We have a really good time.
Co-star Matthew Fox.
Love is I really think her work is fantastic, and she's the cutest thing in the world, and she's so sweet and fun.
It sounds lame, but we're all these really good friends, and I think we all consider ourselves, I consider them all as a part of my extended family, and especially Love.
As she had in the past, Jennifer was growing up with a little help from her on-screen work.
Sarah's not necessarily becoming more me, I'm becoming more her. I've learned a lot from her. I've learned a lot. I've gotten a lot of strength from her, in how I deal with situations and stuff like that.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting to be living this life alongside of your own. Doing a series. That's pretty fascinating. Growing this person alongside of yourself.
While Jennifer had finally found success on television, she wasn't neglecting her other career ambitions. The 16-year-old recorded 2 new albums in 1995 and 1996 that again failed to duplicate her earlier overseas success. Also during her first hiatus from Party of Five, Jennifer landed a small part in the feature film House Arrest. Jennifer received career advice from star Jamie Lee Curtis.
I had asked her, I said, God, what does it feel like to be so successful? And you've done so many movies. And she said, you know what? She goes, if I can look at myself in the mirror 20 years from now and see the same person that I did the day I started the business, then I will have truly succeeded.
Staying true to who you are is a piece of advice my mother gave me, is a piece of advice I would give any actor. Don't try to adhere to some sort of need on the part of the media or on the part of the business to sort of somehow create you. You can be who you are and still make your mark.
Jennifer would soon have a chance to make her mark and test the limits of who she was. Her character on Party of Five was about to take a major leap.
At first, I was completely opposed to it. I could not believe that they would do that to my character.
Coming up on Celebrity Profile, Sarah and Bailey's moment of truth.
Is that it? That's what I waited for all those years?
I was laughing hysterically. Scott and I were absolutely on the floor.
And later, you'll know what Jennifer did last summer.
Countdown to the big...
By 1997, Jennifer Love Hewitt and her character Sarah helped make Party of Five one of the biggest hits on the Fox network.
When people come up to me, they very, very rarely call me Jennifer. They almost always call me Sarah.
Sarah happens to be an incredibly upstanding, wonderful person with strong values, who cares about people.
She's just really, in actuality, a piece of paper, but she's sort of my role model in a way.
But the character's idyllic image took a turn when producers decided Sarah would lose her virginity.
At first, I could not believe that they would do that to my character because she was the only person on the show that had remained pretty pure.
Once again, Jennifer Love Hewitt was growing up in full view of the public.
I know that Love is not alone on the show in having to deal with issues that she hasn't always dealt with in her own life, or about which she has really strong personal points of view.
I'm not saying teenagers should go out and have sex, let me just say that right now. But I'm saying that if that is gonna happen, it's gonna happen whether or not my character on the show decides to do it.
Actually, you know what? I was reaching for the snooze because I need a little more sleep. Okay?
So since I do have such a great platform to say something really, really great, why not show it for once as a beautiful thing?
There's something really engaging about that, I think, to people. There's something that really rings true about it.
I've seen it in movies, Guess I've kind of practiced in my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
With who?
Can't you tell?
And while the smoldering moment was captured realistically in front of the camera, it was a different story once the director said, cut.
I was laughing hysterically. Scott and I were absolutely on the floor. Like, can you believe that right now we are in boxers and like a little strapless t-shirt underneath the covers? How funny is this?
It's funny because usually if there's like a real heavy scene, you can tell who's on camera because there's like 6 people like laughing and joking around and one person in the corner just kind of like with their eyes closed trying to get their thoughts together.
I think in a lot of senses that's a good thing about Party of Five is although we deal with moral issues and there are lessons involved, we're not shoving it down people's throats. She waited until she was absolutely ready, and she was ready and they did it, and she was safe, and it was beautiful, and it was great, and I don't think that there's anything bad about that. I think it was shown in a beautiful way.
The little girl from Texas had matured into a full-fledged television sensation. And it wasn't long before movie producers came calling with starring roles.
They actually originally wanted me to read for Sarah Michelle Gellar's part. No! I'd never played the sort of, you know, tough chick that wanted to like do something and that got kind of pushed around, and I just loved Julie. I just loved her. So I asked them if I could read for her.
The movie was I Know What You Did Last Summer. Producer Neal Moritz.
She came in and we just knew it right away. She just had the most bubbly girl next door. You know, she's the type of girl that you want to spend an hour and a half with.
She probably is the biggest giggler I think I've ever met. And she's just, you know, she's a bundle of energy. She's real fun.
Co-stars Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar recall the unnerving shoot.
Jennifer's the easiest person in the world to scare. I mean, if I just go like that, I mean, she jumps like 80 feet in the air.
Jim Gillespie, our director, played everything for reality. That hook was real that we used. It's this sharp silver hook, and it would cut you all the time if you weren't careful.
The scariest thing that I remember is that when Love opens the trunk of the car where she thinks there's, where she hears scratching noises and she doesn't know what it is.
That was our second day of filming, and I wasn't allowed to see the body or anything beforehand.
She goes there and she opens up the car trunk, and we actually had a fake dead body in there.
And she opened up the trunk and just freaked out.
It freaked her out.
I freaked out.
She's obviously never seen a dead body before.
I didn't play too many practical jokes, which I usually do, but you know, if I did any, they were always on Love because she's easy to get with them. So.
Freddie was my hero and decided not to torture me that much. The producers wanted him to hide in the trunk the day that I was supposed to open the trunk and jump out at me and scare me. And I would have freaked out. Literally, I was already so scared I would have freaked out. So he told them, he's like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. It'll scare Love. So he will forever be my hero for that.
Action.
The action was grueling during production.
Especially in the final scene on the shrimp boat when she's being pursued by the killer, and she has to go in and out of all these hatches on the boat.
I was banged up pretty good. I think I had something like 32 bruises or something on different parts of my body from doing this stuff.
I mean, that was a really rugged scene, really rugged, and she is an athletic young girl.
Riding the new wave of teen horror films, I Know What You Did Last Summer grossed over $100 million worldwide.
I thought it was going to be a cute movie. It was going to be scary, and it was going to be good, and my family was going to see it. My grandma was, of course, going to love it because I was in it, and it was going to be this exciting thing, but I didn't really think it was going to be any big deal. And when it came out, I was so surprised and so excited.
Coming up on Celebrity Profile, Jennifer graduates on screen and off.
I am the perky teenager, but I don't want to be stuck as that forever.
And later, Jennifer's career comes full circle.
How do I deal with love? Why do I have to choose?
Jennifer Love Hewitt's star turn in 1997's smash horror movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer, established the 18-year-old as one of the hottest young actors in Hollywood.
There was no way I thought that it was going to do what it did.
The movie's success paved the way for Jennifer's leading role in Can't Hardly Wait.
It's about a high school graduation night party, and kind of all these kids that have made up this high school for 4 years. It's really cool.
The film also reunited Jennifer with her former Birds of Paradise co-star, Seth Green.
And it was real exciting when we got to do Can't Hardly Wait, except that we never saw each other passing in the night. Like, I remember you.
According to directors Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont,
Cut.
Jennifer took her newfound bankability in stride.
You would think there would be competition, but there wasn't. I mean, there was no attitude. I mean, everyone from Love, who is a movie star, to, you know, even Lauren Ambrose, and this is her first big movie. And everybody really just...
They were rooting for each other.
Yeah, and they all tried to make one another better. And they weren't trying to outdo each other. They were all just trying to give.
It's really all about how, when you're a teenager, and just, I guess, any age, how you want to fit in somewhere, you know, and you don't care where it is for the moment. You just want to feel like you belong somewhere.
What people tend not to understand is that people who want to be actors, people who really have it in them to be actors, don't have a normal childhood because they suffer a certain amount of like ridicule and misunderstanding from classmates and kids their own age, and you get a certain you get a certain confidence that you wouldn't have otherwise. You feel like you belong, like you're part of something, and like you're actually good at something.
Action, Mark. No, seriously, guys, I'm over it.
Jennifer was already in production with Can't Hardly Wait when I Know What You Did Last Summer flexed its box office muscle.
And then they called me the first weekend that it went to #1 that Sunday, and they said, you know, we think we're probably going to do a sequel if this continues to do this well. I was so psyched, so ready to go and, like, get beat up again and play Julie again. I was not done with Julie from the first one. There was way too much of her still to learn, and I was so ready for her to just get to kick some butt and, like, hurt somebody else back. She got tortured. I was ready for her to do it back.
Once again, Neal Moritz was the producer.
We talked with Jennifer the whole way about what the story should be, and she really helped and gave us her input in being able to create the sequel to what it was.
I just wanted to make sure that the character was not somebody that everybody had already seen. So we completely made up a new person. She was much more mature. She was much more sad, much more vulnerable. There was a lot less in her eyes.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer went into production in April 1998.
And action!
According to co-star Brandy, it was a far more difficult shoot than the first film.
The only thing that was the most irritating, it was being wet. Being wet was the worst, and had to run in the soaking wet clothes. That was a bit frustrating, but, you know, running from the killer and falling and having that energy of, like, looking where he is.
There are these bugs. Oh, my God, there's these beetles that drop out of trees, and they would pee acid on your face or your neck or whatever part of your flesh was exposed, okay? And, like, during the scenes, you're, like, walking around and, like, you're waiting for these bugs to, like, drop on you the whole time.
Co-star Mehki Pfifer also suffered from creature discomforts.
That was like a funny time because we kind of had to chaperone each other and smack bugs off each other and say, look, check my back, is anything on my back? And, you know, that whole thing, so it was fun.
But for Jennifer and Brandy, the shoot was less about bugs and more about getting to know each other.
She's a very cool girl. It's like I can relate to her. We were born in the same month, same year, and we really connect because we have the same thing going with the acting and having the television series, and she's pursuing music now, and I've already pursued my music career, so we have a lot to relate to.
Love and Brandy, I mean, that's how they are in real life, you know what I mean? It's like you see them laughing and yelling and hollering at each other and having a good time, and that's the way they are, so it was cool. There was a good chemistry all around.
Yeah, I used to sing and fool around and sing funny lyrics and change lyrics up and things like that. So yeah, it was a great experience.
To top off Jennifer's on-screen performance, the producers asked her for an off-screen performance as well, singing on the movie's soundtrack.
What can I do but feel the weight I'm underneath and grip my cheek, and how do I deal with you?
It's called How Do I Deal, and we did it with David Foster, and we just shot a video for MTV, which was pretty exciting. It was a lot of fun.
I heard the song in the movie, and I thought it fit really well because when the song was played in the movie, I said, "Who's that singing?" And then someone told me that it was Love, and I was like, cool.
When Celebrity Profile returns, Jennifer's multimedia success puts her on Hollywood's Hot 100.
You've made, I'm gonna cry.
There go.
Jennifer Love Hewitt has found success on stage, on television, in film, and in recording. It seems she's conquered it all, but actually, she would disagree.
I pitched a project that was bought by New Line. It was based on a dream that I had, and then I wrote a treatment for it. The New Line bought it. It's called Marry Me Jane. I'm going to open up a production company, and I'm not sure what it's going to be called yet, but I'm excited.
Jennifer is also excited about landing the starring role in an ABC biopic based on the life of her idol, Audrey Hepburn.
She can put her hair up and look just like her. I think Breakfast at Tiffany's is probably one of her favorite movies of all time. It's like a dream come true.
Jennifer's many talents were honored by Entertainment Weekly when they named her among the 100 most powerful people in Hollywood.
I hope I deserve it all. It's kind of overwhelming to think about it.
Jennifer has also taken time to contribute a short story about the charity Tuesday's Child to the book Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul.
Tuesday's Child is an amazing organization for pediatric AIDS. I love children, and if there's anything that breaks my heart, it is a child that is sad, so I go and I try to make them smile.
Jennifer has brought smiles to children and adults of all ages. She was a child herself who grew up before our eyes, and she's learned that her journey has only just begun.
I'm growing up right now. I can feel it, and it's good. I finally am starting to figure out a little bit what's kind of going on and what life is going to be and who I'm going to be, and it's confusing, but it's good. My life right now is lacking sleep sometimes, very hectic, but the most amazing time of my life. I'm having a really great time. I feel really good about things. I'm so happy, I can't even tell you.
Love is a sweetheart.
Jennifer's great. She's a really talented actress.
I think that she's kind of ahead of her years in a lot of ways, but also has maintained an innocence.
She's one of the sweetest people I've ever met.
She's always bright and smiling, and she's just an uplifting person to be around.
She's very grateful, I believe, for the opportunities that she has.
I know she has a ton of projects kind of rolling around that head of hers.
She's got that amazing, what they call it is the eye of the tiger.
This girl can sing.
Someone told me that it was love, and I was like, cool, that's hot.
She's one of these people who has had all the success and is so grateful for it.
I guess the thing that people never get to tell you guys is sort of the part that what you do for people like me is really great. You've made, I'm gonna cry. You've made my life possible, and so I would just say thank you, and I send big hugs and kisses to all of you. So thanks. That's just downright just not funny, that thing right there. And there's no kidding, and it's coming back now. I just found this out though, because when the video came out, it went like gold for videos because it was like really popular with kids. Somebody just called me the other day, and they're like, guess what? Guess what they're bringing out again because it's so popular and all the little kids want it for Christmas. Dance Workout with Barbie. And I was like, Greg, can you put one of those little fuzzy things over my face so people don't know that it's me? Scary.
Hi, girls, you want to dance?